How's it going, everyone? My name is the Trading Savage, and this is part 2 of the What You Need to Know Before Vibe Coding series. In part 1, we talked about how to use Git and GitHub, and version control in general, with large language models. This helped us to keep track of changes in the code over time that ChatGPT or other large language models was providing us. Now in this video, I want to talk about how to debug the code that ChatGPT is giving you more effectively, and also how to lint the code very effectively. So we're going to be using two different packages in Python. One is called Black and one is Laguru. So let's get into it. And this Medium article that I wrote goes along with the video today, what you need to know before vibe coding in Python. What we're going to be talking about is these 2 points right here, logging and linting. So why do we need logging? Let's say that something goes wrong in the code and we need to debug the code. How do we do that effectively? ChatGPT often gives code that has some kind of errors in it. What's the best way to identify those errors? Well, we need to see what things look like, what our Python objects, data frames, for example, look like. ChatGPT or other LLMs will give us a lot of code, and sometimes it can be a little bit hard to read. It could be a little bit overwhelming and not very pretty. So linting is a good way for us to remediate that. The first package I'm going to be talking about today is Laguru. This is a way to log in your code. The logs actually end up, for example, in the terminal or in your console. So in my main.py file, I'm going to write from Laguru import logger. So this is basically importing the Laguru package. Down in the terminal, I'm going to write pip install Laguru. And I've already installed it, but it would install here. I'm going to have ChatGPT make me code for a roulette game in Python. Okay, and I'm going to copy this and paste it here. So ChatGPT gave me this code. Just as a demonstration to run the code, I'll write python main.py. This right here is basically telling Python that if you write Python, the command Python, with the name of the file, main.py, then execute this function here, play roulette. I'll just play it real quick. No, okay. So to use logging, I want to take a look at what something looks like in this code. So for example, I want to see what the bed amount is. Let's say the bed amount wasn't working. How do we debug that? So with Laguru, we're going to use logger. I'm going to bring this down, and I'm going to write logger.debug. And this is preferable for when you're debugging something. And I'm going to put the Python object there, bed amount, and run this again. As you can see, Laguru printed out that the bed amount equals 4. So that helps you identify what that Python object looks like. Now, let's say that there was an error in the code. So, for example here, if the bed amount is less than 0, less than or equal to 0, instead of printing it, I want to use logger to really call my attention to this error. What I'm going to do is write logger.error instead of print, and let's run this again. So python main.py, bed amount 0, and it says invalid bed amount. So immediately Laguru called my attention to the fact that there was an error. Now when ChatGPT gives you a bunch of code, this is essential to figure out where things are going wrong. And the final essential that I'm going to talk about in this episode is linting. So what is linting? Basically, linting is an automated way to format your Python code or other code, but we're going to use this Python package called Black. And it's an uncompromising code formatter where you specify the optimal line length that you want the code to be in your Python project, and it formats it according to best standards or best practices. So down in terminal, I'm going to write pip install black. And it was already installed. And so to use black, what I'm going to write is black and period. And that just denotes, let's reformat all files, all Python files. 2 dashes, line length 60. Okay, and now it automatically reformatted the Python code to be a little bit shorter. The line's a little bit shorter. Now let's say I say black line length 100. Well, it's back to how it was before. So if your code gets really gnarly, then linting is a great way to format your code to look much better. So let's say we have this Python file, and as you can see, it doesn't look very good at all. It defines some functions, there's a for loop, it looks just really gnarly, okay? So let's try to format this with black. So I'm going to write black period line length 60 and enter. And as you can see, it auto-formatted all of this code to be much prettier, to, this looks much more professional now than it did before. So thank you guys so much for your time today. I really hope that this video helps you learn a little bit more about Python and how you can clean up your code, make sure that what ChatGPT is giving you, it's not just garbage in, garbage out. It's something refined, something that's going to last the long term. So if you wouldn't mind, please drop me a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.